It is the most wonderful time of the year. High school playoff football getting started this week across Louisiana. 208 teams in the brackets. Only 16 of them will still be alive when we get to the Caesars Superdome 4 weeks from now and the LHSAA Prep Classic. Ken Trahan joins me here. I'm Lenny Vangilder. Ken, let's get right to it, shall we? There's a lot to get to with trying to figure out which 16 teams are going to end up in the Dome. Let's start with Nonselect Division 1. A lot of dominance in North Louisiana this year. Neville, Airline, and Ruston, the top three seeds. How do you see this bracket playing out?
Well, I certainly think Ruston, as the defending champion, has to be considered the favorite, even though Neville has beaten him, and Neville is that good. Neville lost to Alexandria, of course, and that's a really good football team as well. Both very physical, strong football teams. Ruston's got an elite quarterback in Brantley. And then, of course, Airline, we all know what they can do. They can score with anybody. A great quarterback, a receiver that just committed to LSU, so it's all about being able to get enough stops. And then Central, whom I saw earlier this year, really good defensively as the 4 seed. As far as dark horses are concerned, the teams I'd watch for, Trahan at number 10. Different team with Jackson Fields. Zachary at 14. Been there, done that. And Westgate at 18. Vastly underseeded.
Zachary Ruston, that's a second-round potential game. It would be a rematch of what we saw in the Dome a year ago. Okay, you go to Division II non-select. Now we get a little more local here. Franklinton, the 1 seed. Lutcher, the 2 seed. Nick Salterformaggio has been to the Dome twice with 2 different teams. He knows what it takes to get there. Obviously, the tradition of the Lutcher program. How do you see this playing out?
Well, you got Jennings as the 3, Franklin Parish as the 4. What a job Nick's done at Franklinton to restore the roar with the Demons. They're legit. They're good. Lutcher has been there, done that. Championship program. Jenkins, quarterback, son of the coach, has not turned the ball over once this year. I love that stat. And then, of course, Jennings is a really good football team that can score, cover them all year on the original. Franklin Parish might be my favorite. They're really good and a dangerous football team coached by a former Tulane player. Dark horses, number 7, North DeSoto. They've been in the Dome. Dennis Dunn, and, of course, a great quarterback in Delafield. Northwest and Opelousas, really good. And you're talking about 11 and 14 there. And don't sleep on number 18, Cecilia. They can go deep.
Cecilia heads this way to play Pearl River in the first round. As you look at non-select Division 3, again, you stay in the river parishes. St. James is the number 1 seed, followed by Erath, Oak Grove, and Kinder. How do you see this playing out?
St. James, a play away from winning it last year. Levanta Davis has done a great job. Erath, high-scoring team, really a good story in Southwest Louisiana. But Oak Grove has to be considered my favorite. They're a defending state champion. They're all that. They just crushed Ouachita Christian, handing them their first loss. They're really good. Kinder, tough as nails, been in the Dome. Union Parish has been in the Dome. 5th seed, really good. And again, the others I'd look at, Gina, Kaplan, and Marksville. I think all 3 are capable of making a run. Marksville's an 18, Gina and Kaplan 7 and 8 seeds.
You move on to Division 4 non-select, and a team who we've seen many times get to the Dome. Haynesville sits there as the number 1 seed. South Plaquemines, what a year they've had. They are the number 2 seed, followed by DeQuincy and Jeanneret. How do you see this playing out?
Well, this might be the division where the number 1 seed is the strong favorite of all the divisions. Haynesville's undefeated. They've dominated everyone they've played, and they have the pedigree, obviously. South Plaquemines really good. They showed that in a loss to Newman, who's a really good football team, and that spoke more about the wins that they've had in my mind. DeQuincy, again, a team that scored a bunch, and their record speaks for itself. And Jeanneret, the unknown for a lot of people in Southwest Louisiana. Dark horse teams, the 6 Logansport, the 8 Faraday, and don't forget about Homer as a 15. The Pelicans' record might not be there this year, but they play a tough schedule.
No question about that. Okay, in the non-select side, 28 teams in the bracket. The top 4 are getting first-round byes this weekend. As we shift over to the select side, those are 24-team brackets. Each of the top 8, as you see them on the screen, will get first-round byes. And we start in Division 1. And obviously, a lot of interest with the doubleheader we have from Division 1, Friday night on Crescent City Sports. But you start the conversation with the number 1 seed, as you see it there, Edna Carr. They have, in all likelihood, been the dominant team in Louisiana all season long.
Well, I think they're the best team, and Eric Held agrees, but keep in mind they barely got past Alexandria last year in the playoffs and lost to Acadiana last year in the playoffs. Who's 2 and 3? Alexandria and Acadiana. Who's 4? Catholic, who's dominated in this class in recent years. I think this is the most delicious class because of those top 4 teams. I think they're all superior. Any one of them could win it. I give Carr a slight edge. Rummel the 5, it's all about health for the Raiders. Good football team, but have to be healthy enough. And then, of course, my sleepers there, certainly St. Thomas More at number 8. This team got better and better, took Turlings apart late and handed them their only loss. St. Augustine at number 9. This is a very good football team. And again, they're that close to being 8-2 or 9-1, and they got really good players and they're well coached. And then the other one, hey, the winner of the 14, Brother Martin, and the 19, John Curtis. Both of them are capable of making runs.
I tell you what, I love the top part of this bracket. I mean, Carr, Catholic, Rummel, St. Thomas More. Does it get much better than that? One of those teams, only one of those teams, can get to the Dome, and who knows, maybe it's somebody coming from the outside of those top teams. Yeah, exactly. They could be sitting there on the other side waiting. As you go to Division II, this has been the bracket of mystery, of course, with the saga of University Lab. It may get a resolution come Monday. We'll see what happens, but Archbishop Shaw all season long has been solid. They have really been tested all year long, and they sit there as the number 1 seed, deservedly so.
Well, they played Carr and Rummel early, and that really helped them. So win or lose wasn't the issue. It helped make them better, and I think because of that, you look at their team with their ability to run the football, it's really good. They're big up front. I think this is a really good football team. Hank Tierney's a championship coach. University High, we just have to wait and see. I mean, we can't really have that discussion. E.D. White has been there, done that. Coliseum does a great job. Just a tough team to play against. Great story in Haynes Academy, undefeated this year, and nobody expects them to go far, but guess what? They're undefeated, and Lachlan Clavery's been great. Dark horse teams, Madison Prep. Look out. They beat U-High. John F. Kennedy. Records a lie. They had a couple of forfeit wins taken away. They're really good. And then a 3-6 team, St. Charles Catholic. Okay? Ignore the record. They're St. Charles Catholic. Enough said.
Yeah. Here's the thing that I would say. Teams that have been there and done that, don't worry about the record. You got Lafayette Christian that's going to be up there as well. Teams that have been there, you can't worry about what the number is in front of their name. As you move on to Division III, Dunham, we saw them early in the year in Crescent City Sports with the outstanding quarterback, and they are the 1 seed. Newman is undefeated. They are the 2 seed. Are these the 2 teams that are left standing at the Dome at the second week of December, or somebody else breaking in there?
Calvary Baptist is the defending champion. They're the 3 seed, and they're the favorite. I think that's the team to beat. Great quarterback in Mordell. They've been there, done that. Coach Ewan's done a great job, and I certainly would pick them at this point. Dunham's been terrific. Neil Weiner's done an incredible job. He's got a sophomore quarterback that is considered the best player in his class, who's going to be a big-time player at the college level. Newman has a great quarterback in Eli Friend. The Greenies' biggest problem is they haven't been tested much. They were tested early against St. Charles and late against St. Plaquemine, but they're very good, and Nelson Stewart does a tremendous job. And Jules Sumner's a good football team. Cowboys beat Amite, and they're 9-1. And again, you got a name there synonymous with success in Ross' career in the annals of Louisiana history. Dark horse teams, number 5 Bunkies undefeated, fantastic story. Catholic and New Iberia, really good football team, could win it all. Then you got Notre Dame, Lafayette Christian, both are powerhouse teams that have proven what they can do. And don't forget about De La Salle at 14.
Don't forget about De La Salle. Absolutely right. Okay, lastly, Division IV select. Vermilion Catholic has separated themselves over the course of the year. They are clearly deserving of the number 1 seed. Can they win a title, or who else can threaten them?
Yes, they can. And in fact, I think both of the Division 4s are the ones that have the top number 1 seeds. The number 1 seeds that are most likely to win would be Haynesville and Vermilion Catholic. They're that good. And of course, D'Artes is a fantastic player. Ascension Catholic is the 2 seed, good football team. Covenant Christian is undefeated. Great story in the Bayou there. St. Frederick up North Louisiana is 4th. Dark horse teams, of course, Riverside Academy is at 7, and they've got a great chance after really coming up short by just a yard or 2 last year. Ouachita Christian, 9-1 team. They always get there, even with a young team under Stephen Fitzhugh. And then look at the 12-13. Kentwood and defending state champion Southern Lab are 12-13. Those are good football teams with a chance.
Yeah, and 12-13, by the way, that would be a quarterfinal matchup if both of those teams could pull seed upsets, if you will, in the second round. Of course, they got to get past their first round matchup. You know where to keep up with all of the scores and everything going on in Louisiana high school football? It's right here at CrescentCitySports.com. And of course, we're right here at Ed Daniels Field at Mus Bernalino Stadium. No better place to get you started for the Louisiana high school football playoffs. Stay with us throughout November and December right here at Crescent City Sports.